Welcome to the Vulcan 9.1 preview. My name is Stuart Maurer. I'm the Director of Global Marketing here at MapTech. And I'm joined by Director of Vulcan Product Management, Eric Gonzalez, Director of Vulcan Product Development, Scott Schell, Director of Vulcan Quality Assurance, Tom Sweet, and Director of Client Experience, Steve Euchre. And today we're going to be talking about the upcoming release of Vulcan, version 9.1, scheduled to be available in November. And we're going to talk a little bit about some of the new features, and we're going to talk about how some of that stuff got into this release. So I guess with that, let's just jump right into it. So Eric, there's a lot of excitement internally around 9.1. Can you give our audience a little overview of some of the new features?
Thank you, Stuart. You're absolutely right. We are very excited about the new upcoming version because the wide scope of changes we have into the software that we expect to benefit our customers. We have changes ranging from drill hole editing tools, going through new geology modeling options, through mine planning applications for open pit and underground, and then we have a brand new GAN scheduler that will be also releasing to our customers. So we cover a wide spectrum of application in our software that we will be releasing to our customer this time. So the excitement internally is high. We're trying to make sure our customers perceive the same way.
And Scott, I know your team's been working on a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff in 9.1. Can you talk about some of that?
Yeah, we have. From an architectural perspective, we've been working on making Vulcan bigger, better, and faster. We're allowing users to load and display larger data sets. We've also taken the opportunity to overhaul some of our algorithms, in some cases completely rewriting them to make them more effective in using the multi-core CPUs and GPUs available on modern hardware. And overall, this makes the experience a lot better for users and gives them a faster result.
And I think you touch on a good point right there, the idea of really getting a focus on the customers. And that's something that's always a priority for us, but I really think 9.1 is probably the most customer-focused version of Vulcan that we've released. And my team does a lot of work surveying our user base and getting feedback from customers at industry events. And what else have we done to ensure that the voice of the customer is being heard for 9.1?
Yeah, we're doing a lot more customer visits and visiting with users at trade shows and other events. And what that really does for us is give us direct feedback from the users that then we feed to Eric and his team. And then they use that to inform their decisions on what goes into the next product release.
So we have a beta program for Vulcan 9.1. We have 110 customers participating in it, and feedback's been really great as part of this program. And based on this, we feel we're ready to release.
And from a customer focus point of view, so even before the beta or before any development, for all of the large scale projects for Vulcan now, we implemented what we call project teams, and these are comprised essentially of technical service staff from around the world that represent all of the different regions where we have people using Vulcan. And so these teams are not that staff, but they're with the actual developers and they're with the management like Scott and Eric, to really ensure that from the very get-go these projects meet the customer's expectations.
Right, and that all those type of feedback, beta testers, customer visit, tech services doing work, our project teams, all those interactions with the customer are what are driving priorities and the features we deliver with the software. So that's very, very focused on what we get from customers.
Mm-hmm. And I think one of the things that we consistently hear is that customers need to increase their productivity. And probably that is something that we heard more this time than even in the past. And one of the ways we've tried to focus on that with Vulcan is making it a more complete end-to-end solution. So you saw with Vulcan 9.0 we released Implicit Modeler. In 9.1 we have the Gantt scheduler, and now customers are able to do their geological modeling, mine design, mine plan, and scheduling all in a single package.
You're exactly right, Stuart. One of the things we've tried to focus on in this release is removing the need for users to transfer data in and out of Vulcan. For example, you mentioned implicit modeling. We have the underground Gantt scheduler, and we also have the pit optimization now built into Vulcan, so users can use their normal workflow to bring their data right into those products and they no longer have to go to a third party. It's all built in.
And one of the other benefits there is, using a single provider simplifies where you need to go for support and how you get enhancements.
Yeah, another thing we've done, Stuart, is we've formalized our release process. We now have major releases once a year and minor releases every 2 months. And what that means for our customers is if they have an issue that they really need right away, they can contact us and we'll do our best to get it in the next release. It also helps the customers' IT groups in that they can schedule around when they do their product testing and rollouts in their organization, and they can be confident that we'll be on time.
Yeah, that's a good point. And Steve, looking at some of the features for the end users, how have we addressed some of the new tools in Vulcan to make sure that it achieves that productivity increase?
The first thing that comes to mind, Stu, is really the underground mine planning process, right? With Vulcan 8.2, we released Vulcan Stope Optimizer, which really revolutionized how stope shapes are generated inside of Vulcan, right? So what traditionally is done with a manual method, in most cases that took days to weeks to do, now Stope Optimizer creates thousands of stope shapes in some cases, in a matter of a few minutes to a couple hours. And so in 9.1, we kind of build on that with the level designer tool, which is new, which basically allows quick access layout to all of these thousands of stope shapes in some cases. So, all of your development, all of your crosscuts and everything to access these shapes is now done in an equally efficient manner. And then the third part is the schedule of it. So from the stope shapes to the access and level design to the schedule in the new Vulcan Gantt scheduler, all tied in the same package. It's, you can go from that process in just a matter of a few hours.
And I think also in the geology side, we have a twofold benefits in terms of productivity. Scott mentioned earlier about the use of GPU and the faster processing capabilities of the computer. So we have that ability now in the implicit modeling tool to leverage from that technology and create quick previews of the models for geologists so that they can quickly change their parameters to what they need to get in terms of results. But also the integration portion of it, where you can start from drill holes, going through the whole implicit modeling up to the evaluation of resources very quickly, increasing the productivity, avoiding having to transfer data, so that the whole process is very efficient now in Vulcan.
And another example, Stu, is the pit optimization, right? Scott talked earlier about overhauling some of our algorithms. We've done that with the Vulcan Pit Optimizer, and we've had, in some cases, optimizations that were taking 4 days to run to get a single result, now run in 3 minutes in Vulcan 9.1. So, huge gains in productivity. And in that same option, we've overhauled the analysis portion of our Pit Optimizer, which allows you to quickly see and analyze the results of the optimization in the pit shells that are generated. So, all of your standard pit by pit graphs and similar are all built in. And so you can go from a pit optimization to the analysis and run multiple scenarios faster than ever, right? And you throw that with our rapid pit design, which allows you to very quickly generate strategic designs based on, say, a nested pit shell. That process now is really measured in hours and not days or months.
And we've also made some enhancements this time around to some of our coal tools. So Steve, can you talk to some of the work that we've done there for our coal and our stratigraphic customers?
Yeah, I think there's 3 big things, Stu, right? The first is our HART models and the work we've done with them. We introduced what we're calling a hybrid HART model, which basically combines the methodology behind the stacking methodology and the structural surfaces methodology to really optimize, the model that you get for stratigraphic deposits, right? And we've also done some work with the HART models that, really make it more accessible for the mine planning side of things. The second is, we talked earlier again about customer focus, and we undertook a project here with the development team in Denver that focused purely on what we call user stories, and these are direct requests from our clients. So, the users of our cool tools over the years have called us and said, hey, it'd really be good if it could do that. And so we put together a project that really just goes through and accomplished as many of those things as we could in the time we had for the 9.1 release. So, it doesn't get more customer focused than that, as these are, probably a couple dozen projects that are a direct result of customer requests. And then the third is our new borehole graphics, which is an interactive visual way to see your drill holes, right? And so this, the graphics on it are amazing, and an environment where you can visualize and edit your drill holes complete with geophysical data if that's available.
Well, those are certainly some of the big ticket items that are going to get a lot of the attention with 9.1. But as usual, we've got a whole host of smaller enhancements in this release. So, Eric, can you preview some of those smaller upgrades?
Right. We have changes, as I said at the beginning, covering several areas of the software, ranging from changes to the way the cursor is displayed, so very simple things for the user, to the way section views are changed. We have a number of changes in grade control as well. So we cover several areas of the software. Since we have more than 100, it's hard to summarize, but we'll have Steve presenting his top 10 selected features in Vulcan 9.1. He does that every year, so I think that will be a good thing to look at. We'll be looking forward to see that presentation from Steve.
And that's probably a good time for me to remind everyone that we'll be conducting a series of much more in-depth webinars covering all of the new features in 9.1. So if you go to maptech.com/Vulcan 9.1, you can see the list of all of the upcoming webinars and go ahead and register for those, as well as Steve's traditional top 10 preview. So shifting gears a little bit, Tom, we've been talking a lot about the focus on the customers, and one of the things that customers have told us in the past is they're not always ready to upgrade to the latest release of Vulcan right when it comes out. But for people who are watching us here today and they're hearing about Pit Optimizer and they're hearing about Vulcan Gantt Scheduler, what can we tell them to increase their confidence that 9.1 is a version that they can go ahead and install as soon as it's available?
Well, I'm hoping to change their opinions too, and I'm confident it's ready for them. Vulcan 9.1 has been tested by 110 beta testers. The feedback's been great, as I said earlier. We have tested it internally with over 50 users in 8 countries. We have 3,000 automated tests that run every night. And if you look at our success for the 9.0 minor upgrades, we've had 4 minor upgrades past 9.0, and they've all been successful. So this is the best tested version of Vulcan ever, and it'll be the best version of Vulcan for our customers.
Well, thanks, Tom, and I think you're right. There's been a lot of good work inside of Maptech, and there's a lot of people inside Maptech who share that opinion. So I think we're all excited about getting 9.1 in front of our customers. And it will be available, as I mentioned earlier, in November, and you can find it in the downloads area of our users area of maptech.com. I also want to reiterate that we're conducting these live webinars with our product experts where we'll be walking through all of the new features in much more detail that we've talked about here today. And with that, I want to thank you for watching our video. And on behalf of the entire crew here today, thank you for being a Maptech customer.